So now let's talk about SQL optimization. Developers generally find it challenging to improve the execution time for a SQL statement. They will generally look at the execution plan and try and figure out what the problem is, and they generally then have to go to a DBA to help them, or a senior developer. And oftentimes what happens is developers will try to rewrite the statement in a different way in an attempt to make it run faster and look at the execution plan to get the evidence. So how hard can it be to rewrite a SQL statement? Look at this SQL statement. How many different ways do you think you could rewrite this? 30,500 times. That's an awful lot. And these are statements, all different statements, semantic equivalent, that have a different execution plan. So let's see how we can speed that process up. And that's where the auto-optimize feature comes in Toad Xpert Edition. And we know that tuning SQL is a big challenge. We know that developers typically try and rewrite. So all we're trying to do here is automate that process by taking a scientific approach. Let's actually look at every single possible rewrite you can have for a particular SQL statement, but let's automate that process and make it really fast. So what we'll do then is we'll generate multiple rewrites, as you can see from the screenshot, and then we'll show you a comparison panel which allows you to compare the performance of the best rewritten SQL statement against your original one. And you will typically see a significant improvement in performance, and then that will allow you then to take that SQL statement and put that back into your application. So let's have a look at this working in practice. So as I move into Toad here, you can see a store procedure with a number of blocks, and in this top block here there's an embedded SQL statement. So as you can see from the SQL statement, it has things which mean that it will only run inside the store procedure, and I would have to modify the syntax in order to make it run outside, which is going to make it difficult for me to tune the SQL statement. But I needn't worry about that with Toad, because all I need to do is click on the SQL statement as it is and select the auto tune button here, auto optimize SQL. And the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to automatically reform the SQL so that it will run outside, which is necessary for me to go and tune the SQL statement and look for rewrites. So it's removed the into clause, and it's modified the local variable and turned it into a bind variable. So now if I click OK, the auto-optimize will present me with some options. So I can refactor the SQL, I can control how long it takes to perform the optimization, I can tell the auto-optimize what type of application this will be running in production, data warehouse or OLTP, and I can go ahead with the optimization. It will prompt me for a value for the bind variable, so I'm going to put an enter a value here of 5,000 and click OK. And now it has all the information to go ahead and generate rewrites, execute each rewrite, and present the elapsed time in this particular case of each executed SQL statement, so I can easily compare the performance with the original SQL statement. I can change the goal from elapsed time to CPU use or IO or any of these other metrics, and then just watch the thing generate all the rewrites. You can see it rapidly generates alternate rewrites, and each of these rewrites has a unique execution plan. And I'll end up with an alternative, and it's showing me on the right-hand panel here the best alternative so far, which runs in 0.02 seconds compared to 0.11 seconds of the original SQL statement. And it would have taken me a significant amount of time to manually figure out how to rewrite that original SQL statement.